Hey guys, today I got two smartwatches for you. On the one side I have the Amazfit Balance, which some call also the unofficial Amazfit GTR 5. And on the other side I have the older one, the Amazfit GTR 4. And today we will compare these two watches and see which one has the better battery life. We will check out all of the features, health metrics, and of course the design and some of the specs. And I guess let's start with this one. So let's start with the Amazfit Balance. This one has a 46mm case with a 1.5-inch AMOLED touch display and weighs in at 35 grams. Now this watch is basically a full plastic smartwatch with aluminum alloy on the side. The Amazfit GTR 4 is also a 46mm smartwatch with a 1.43-inch AMOLED display and weighs in at 34 grams, and you got the same materials as with the Balance. Now these two watches also have quite a few things in common. You got two physical buttons on the side. The upper one is rotatable and you can scroll through your notifications, sport modes, or even zoom in and out of your app menu. Now the lower one is customizable and you can connect this one to any of your applications, but by default it opens up your workouts. Now the main difference right here is the shape and the size of the lower button. The button on the Balance is a little bit larger and sits very flush with the rest of the case. On the GTR 4 it's a little bit smaller. Also the crown is easier to rotate on the GTR 4. Now on the Balance it has a little bit more resistance to it, which is a nice thing. Both watches also have a built-in mic and a speaker and are water resistant up to 5 ATM. As for the band, we got two 22mm bands. It's a rubbery silicone one on the GTR 4 and a fluid silicone strap on the Balance, which is a lot softer and feels like it has a soft coating on top of it. It feels also a little bit more sturdy. Now next up we got the battery life, and both watches are just great. Both actually last about 14 days on normal usage or 7 days on heavy usage, and if you enable the always on display mode you can still expect to get around 4 to 5 days at max. Now if you put them in the battery saving mode you can still expect to get around 24 days of battery life. The only downside is the charging speed. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the Amazfit Balance or the GTR 4, both of them need 2 hours to fully charge, which is a long time. Okay, now let's check out the features, and first let's see what these two watches actually have in common. So I already mentioned that both of them have a built-in mic and a speaker, which means you can receive and decline incoming calls right on your wrist, or even start calls from your smartwatch by either punching in a number in the dial pad or just look for the number in your contacts book. Now on both watches you can also use the Alexa voice assistant, but you have to keep in mind that you first have to connect your Amazon account to your Zap app, and only then you can use the voice assistant. But this one works just like any other one. You can ask for the weather, check out who is LeBron James, set some timers, or look for some cooking recipes. Now on both watches you can also receive all of your notifications and text messages and even reply to them with a quick reply if your watch is connected to an Android smartphone. Now there's a weather app, stopwatch, a timer, a calendar, and on both watches you get quite a few watch faces and different always on display styles. Now these ones will either follow your current watch face style or choose a different style if you want to, and you more or less have the same styles on both watches and only a few extra ones on the Amazfit Balance. Your normal watch faces are even customizable and you can change the display metrics on both of them and use them afterwards as some little shortcuts to the apps. But I must say that you have more options of apps that are on one watch face on the Amazfit Balance. Now let's get over to some features that you're only going to find on the Amazfit Balance. Now first up we got the readiness score. This one basically tells you how ready your body is for the day with different contributors like your mental and physical recovery, sleep HRV, breathing quality, and a few more. Also the app layout is different. You can decide between the normal list layout and a grid layout like we know from the Apple Watch. The GTR 4 only has a list layout and something that looks like a grid layout but isn't one. Now on the Balance you also have meditation exercises and a training load. Now when it comes to the health features, both watches more or less have the same features. You will get a heart rate tracker that will track all day and all night. It gives you heart rate alerts and you can even set it to only track every 10 or 30 minutes to save some of your battery life. You have an SpO2 tracker, stress and sleep tracking. You got the one-tap measuring, but in addition to all of that, the Balance also has the body composition, which is a feature that I only knew from Samsung watches. Now this one gives you a few of your body stats like your body fat, skeletal muscle, body water, protein, BMI and BMR, and a few more. Next we go over to the activity tracking and the built-in GPS. Now GPS wise I couldn't find any big differences and both work just fine in my opinion. I mean, you do get some deviations on both, especially in the beginning of your workouts, but it's really not that bad. By the way, on both watches you have different GPS modes. One with high accuracy, which drains your battery pretty fast. You got a battery saving mode, automation, and a custom one. Now, as for the amount of workouts you got, both watches have over 150 sport modes. Starting with the basics like walking and running, over to some pool swimming, you got trail running, strength training, or even boxing. Both can start some of your workouts automatically, and that works pretty fast, or you even have the auto pause function during your workouts. Now you can create routes on the Zap app and import them over to your smartwatch and start the route over there. So overall, I don't think that one watch is that much better than the other one. And guys, there we have it. That's the Amazfit GTR 4 and the Amazfit Balance. Now, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.